Welcome to the Porsche Club Insider, your one stop for all things Porsche and PCA. Here's your host, Vu Gwyn, and the Insider crew.
Welcome, everyone. Manny, I can't believe it. We are 2 episodes away from episode 200, which makes this episode 198.
I read somewhere where it said only 5% of podcasts ever make it to 200 episodes.
Really?
Yeah,
yay us.
Yes.
It feels like it's also been a while since we've recorded here in headquarters because we've been on the road quite a bit and travel and
some vacation time and whatnot.
Yeah, and by the time people hear this particular episode, it'll be right before Christmas.
3 days before.
So Merry Christmas to you all, and hopefully you and your family have a wonderful time together. Be safe, everyone. I want to welcome you to this week's episode. Of course, we want to thank our presenting sponsor, Pirelli. Pirelli tires have to achieve the highest levels of performance, safety, noiselessness, and grip on the road surface. Innovative tires that can even satisfy the most specific mobility needs of the end consumer. Thank you all for listening. If you aren't currently a PCA member and own a Porsche, what are you waiting for? Be sure to have your VIN handy. And for those of you that don't currently own a Porsche, check out our test drive program. You can take care of all that at pca.org. Man, I tell you what, the winter has really kind of kicked in here in Maryland.
It's not even winter yet.
Oh my gosh, it's not even winter yet. Yeah, but the temperatures and man, it's really cramped our ability to have really car stuff going on.
Oh, sure, outside stuff, and even stuff like doing work on your car or anything. You now got to pick days when it's not going to be really cold outside.
Exactly. So before the Thanksgiving holiday, I was doing all my annual oil changes, and I thought it would be a good idea. Actually, before I get into that one, let me show you this one little tool, a little show and tell. Manny, have you seen one of these before? This blue.
I have not.
It's pretty cool because when you ever work on body parts or fender liners and stuff like that, and you get these little things, what do? Usually get like a pick or you get a flat bladed screwdriver. And usually you poke yourself in the finger with it. Well, this one here, they have these jaws that clip on. I don't know if you guys can see it there. And just with one pull, makes it nice and smooth.
Mm-hmm.
So for like a $10, $15 tool.
Where'd you get it?
Amazon. Yeah. So hopefully, you guys, if you need to pull these plugs out.
The Macan has 2 of those, I think.
Yeah.
On the panel, you have to take out to do an oil change.
There you go.
You got like 15 screws and then 2 of those.
There you go. $10, $15 or something like that. Add it to your toolbox. But back to working on the car before the holidays and doing the oil changes. I don't know if Damon's going to be able to pull up the video, but probably at least 10 years during the winter when my 87 sits, I get somewhat of a puddle of oil because of the O-rings on my oil return tubes are worn out. And they're so worn out that you can actually rotate them just by hand and just rotate them. And obviously you know that they're loose, but have you ever replaced the oil return tubes in an early car?
I think the only time we did it was when we rebuilt the engine on the race car.
It is, how would I say it? It's very violent.
It's probably the only part of the car not leaking on the 911.
Yeah.
Because I got some oil lines that are seeping. But I looked after you told me what you do with yours.
Yeah.
When I was doing the oil change, I looked at them and they were dry.
Yeah, you don't want to touch them if they're good. But mine were, they're so loose that they could spin in place. When I say violent, it's because typically these are solid tubes that you have to split the cases and heads and stuff to when they assemble them. So when you do it sort of like an aftermarket process, you actually have to crush them with big channel lock pliers, and then you squeeze them down, and then you contort them so that they shorten up and they pull out of the motor. Like I said, it's a really violent of a process. It's a very simple process, but you got to commit to doing it. And so anyways, they do come out very easily, and the ingenious way to replace them is they have these 2-piece oil return tubes that extend, and then a circlip goes into place to keep them locked in. fairly easy, not that hard to do. I put them in before the Thanksgiving holiday and put my 10, 11 quarts of oil into it. It started up, no leaks. I'm like, man, I'm a freaking, mechanic extraordinaire, right? So I do have this thing where sometimes I have to do things twice. And I did notice the one O-ring that was kind of at the center of the motor was not like pushed all the way in for some reason. And the particular tubes that I got, they had different ends, whereas the one, not size-wise, but just the way the O-rings were held. And when you know it, I had a 50-50 chance of putting them in the correct way, and I put them in.
Oh, so they didn't look like the ones you took out?
No, they didn't look like the ones that I went out. And unfortunately, friends gave me these tubes a while ago, and there was no instructions.
So your cheapness, you're not even sure if this is for a 3.2?
No, it is. It says it is for, like, it had the right part number and everything, but there was no instructions, and I just chose the wrong end to put on the one side. So what I have to do now is when I came back from holidays, there was a nice puddle under my car seat. I'm like, oh, darn it. But I kind of figured this was going to be the case. Now I need to drain the oil again, but save it because I'm not going to waste this oil. And then use the circlip tool.
Well, you don't have to crush the tube like the
I don't have to crush the tube. The good news is you just use the circlip tool, collapse the tubes, and then rotate them and put them back in. And if you're going to do this, I had a cheapy pair of circlip pliers. Invest in the $20 or $30 circlip pliers made by Channel Lock. Makes a world of difference in terms of getting the grip. And also, I didn't realize how the tips of the circlip, the little bits that they give you, there's different quality. Ones that will break pretty easily versus the one that came with Channel Lock that worked really well. So mildly successful. And back to the weather, I've been waiting for decent temperature so I can go back out into the garage and flip my oil.
At least the oil won't drip too much right now because it's so cold.
It made a mess.
Well, here's what happened to me. I was doing my 964 oil change, drained the oil, and doing the part that I absolutely hate, and that's taking this oil filter off because
I don't know why you hate that so much.
Don't you spill oil when you do it?
No, I don't.
Where's your oil at then?
So you drain the center, and then you drain your reservoir on the right.
Yep.
Like drain, like no more comes out. And then what I do is I take a rag and I slide it underneath your oil filter and I butt it up against the wall.
I've done that.
And then when I spin the oil filter out, I might get like 2 or 3 drops.
Oh no!
Really?
No. I mean, you got all the oil in the filter.
But
how are you draining that separate?
I don't know.
That's level. That's like a completely flat, that oil filter. So unless you jack up the car on one side,
no,
and use gravity. But anyway, so here's what I found the solution after all this was. I found that on Pelican. They have a little. When I buy it, we'll show it up on the screen. But basically, it's a piece of plastic that someone made. It's only like $20, maybe 30. I don't know. That slides underneath. It's magnetic, I think. And it slides under the filter, and because it's magnetic, it sticks to the body.
Okay.
And when you unscrew it, it goes into this tray, this plastic tray.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's a better solution than my rag.
Heck yeah. So,
but I don't get that much oil. But you say you get it.
It makes a mess. I mean,
Really?
It's not like a quart, but it's at least a third of a quart that comes out. But the problem I had was all the oil's changed. I mean, not changed. It's all drained, and now I'm putting the new filter. Got my. I can't remember where I got this from either, but it said Pure Later on it.
Oh.
So, which is I think the one to make it.
Okay.
And so I go to screw it in. It must be for a 3.2.
Oh.
The hole is smaller than 3.6. That's my guess. It had to be for an earlier 911 engine.
Earlier 911, yeah.
And now I have no oil filter.
Oh.
Yeah. You don't go down to the advanced auto parts to get a 911. So I had to drain the old one as much best as I could and then put that back on because I had to move the car back in the garage.
Oh, it was outside.
So I went ahead and ordered, went to Pelican and ordered the right.
Was the one that you're putting on like a red one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's an early car one. How did
But
you
no,
end
they
up with
make
that?
they now they make one for the 964 too.
In red?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All the ones the red ones that I have a red one. I don't know how I have a red one, but I have a red one, and I thought that was for my car. But luckily,
I should have saved it for you, but I was so pissed I threw it into trash.
I don't think it fits my car.
Oh, does it?
The red one doesn't fit my car. I have a black one. The black one.
I know they make red ones. Porsche sells red ones for the 964.
Oh,
but they also make. I think Bosch makes a black one. It's OC54.
That's the one I use. I use OC54.
So then your mine wouldn't even fit this. Whatever this was for, then it wouldn't fit you either.
Yeah.
Because I use an OC54.
Yeah, mine's OC54.
So, yeah, that was my excitement. And I also I bought a secondary bypass pipe for the 964 from a member on the PCA Mart. And I installed it, taking off the old muffler and putting the new one on. So I've yet to drive the car out because it hasn't been warm enough.
So it should sound a little bit thirtier?
Deeper.
Deeper,
yeah.
Oh, look at you getting all fast and furious, modifying your exhaust.
I don't want to piss off the neighbors, but I think it's enough where it...
Did you also get your wheel done?
That's... I was thinking about that. Yes, so the wheels are at the shop to get painted. I gotta reach out to Sam and say, "Are my wheels done?" Because I think I told you I got them first done, and it didn't match the Club Blau that's in the Porsche little book they sell with all the swatches.
Yeah,
that did not match at all. He matched it to the swatch, but the swatch is not Club Blau.
Oh, I see.
And
that's gonna be cool. So your car will be obviously it's white, and it will have Club Blau Cup ones.
Cup ones, yeah.
Cup ones. Oh.
And the reason I wanted Club, obviously, because of my involvement with the Club Coupe.
Yeah.
I figured that'd be pretty cool. I can't afford a Club Coupe, but at least I can afford to pick my wheels Club Blau.
Not bad. Not bad.
And then I was telling Damon on Monday. Monday I broke down on the way to work.
Yes.
And the Z3, 280,000 miles, or close to 280,000, accelerator pedal just dropped underneath of me, and as soon as it did it, you feel in your foot that suddenly your foot's not on the accelerator anymore. And I pushed down, and I could feel the thing had dropped, and now it has no response. It just went to idle, so now the car's idling fine.
Yeah.
But it wasn't going anywhere, so I coasted over to the side of the highway. Of course, it was Monday morning, 95, 4 lanes of traffic.
And you were on the left because you were in the fast lane. You pulled over in the left lane. When I saw that photo, I'm like, oh, that's not a safe spot.
Called AAA. They were going to be an hour and 15 minutes. So I thought, well, I got no choice. I can just sit here. I might as well get my laptop out, do some work while I'm waiting. And Melanie, our events manager,
your savior, shows up.
I see her. I see a white SUV pull up like 100 yards ahead, and I'm like, I wonder who that is. And
so she noticed and saw you?
She saw the car, yeah.
She saw the car.
And so she called me up. She said, do you need a ride? Is that you? And I'm like, actually, I do. I said, yeah, that'd be great. So I left the key in a spot and locked the car. And at first she started backing up.
Don't go there. Don't go there. Leave her alone. She's like your savior.
It looked like the sniper walk. Little left, little right.
Wait, so you just left your car? Yeah, you ditched your car and AAA picked it up without you being
I locked
there?
it, but I put the key in it, and I hid the key, and I just told AAA where the key was. And
they'll pick it up without you
there? They
there?
are probably happier that when you're not there.
Oh, really?
Because they can just go at their own pace and
do their
everything.
own thing.
It's a $2,000 BMW. I mean,
yeah.
What could really happen?
Oh. Now, I know Damon's been pretty busy lately. I can't imagine you've done any car stuff lately.
Not too much car stuff, but I did do... Gosh, what did I do on the...
You've been driving cool cars. I'm gonna tell you I'm a little. You've been driving cool cars at least.
Yep. Well, I was in California for quite a bit of time after ünStock, and I got to drive a 993, a Carrera 4S, 1996, and it's a lightweight ünStock sort of car. And that video just went up before we recorded this podcast, actually, last night. So go check it out. It's maritime blue with dolphin gray wheels. And it's more of a... There's really no engine mods except for some welding that went on in the mufflers to make them sound a little bit better. Mm-hmm. But basically stock engine and lowered suspension. So it has motion control coilovers, which are very nice. But then it doesn't go as far as like a GT car, so it doesn't have spherical bearings or things like that. So it's a nice balance between
a fun street car
that you probably wouldn't take on a really long road trip.
Yeah.
So yeah, go check it out. Coming up next, it'll probably already be out by the time this podcast is out. Is I also drove a 2010 GT3 RS, which was awesome. I spent, back in early in my career, the publication I worked for, we got one of those and a 2RS in at the same time for like a week. So I had 3 or 4 days behind the wheel, and 15 years later almost, it's still one of the best Porsches that the company has ever made.
What was the weight? What was the weight on the 993 that you drove?
So the owner says it's in the 2850 range, so that they've removed about 300, 350 pounds.
If I'm not mistaken, that's not much lighter than a early 996.
Or Boxster.
No, I mean it's a little bit. It
takes a lot. It takes a lot to get weight out of these cars.
Yeah.
Because my 964 that I raced, I did much more than.
You didn't have anything left to your car.
But still, the point is, I got it down to 2762, I think, or 2752.
Really? It was still that much.
Yeah, it was because you think air conditioning weighs a lot. It doesn't. It's all aluminum. The compressor is the thing that weighs, but after that, it's all aluminum. That was so depressing when I took all the stuff out and I weighed it. It was like 9 pounds or something. The front seats.
It sounds like my normal diet. You're so disappointed.
The front seats are really heavy with their power, but the rear seats aren't that heavy either because the bottom cushion is just it's super light. It's like not even a pound.
Yeah, it's a pound. Yeah.
And the fronts are these little foldable things. They're not. I read somewhere in one of the comments somebody said 100 pounds. I'm like, no freaking way.
No way.
I would have been happy to joy if it was 100 pounds.
No way.
No, I mean it's hard to get weight out of these cars. And I took all the insulation out. I don't know. Did he take the insulation out on that car?
I don't believe he took all the insulation out, but lightweight carpet. So he went pretty far with that sort of stuff. It's
tough. It's without putting carbon fiber stuff.
It was the knee pad, which I didn't even realize that was a thing. But you look at those cars and then you look at one with the knee pad. It's that thing where the glove box would have been, right? And I guess that's a pretty heavy piece. Yeah, it takes out a big chunk.
So it's not as heavy as you think. Once again, it's the seats were the heaviest thing that I took out initially, but I had to take my knee pad out also because the roll cage replaced it with a bar that went across of it. So
this is a Carrera 4S, so it started out at almost 3,200 pounds. It was already kind of a heavy car.
But he definitely felt the weight then.
Yeah. Well, what's funny about it is I thought it would feel even. I'll put the camera back on me as I'm talking. I thought it would feel even peppier with, basically 300 or so pounds taken out. But without, again, a back-to-back with the Carrera 2, or anything, I'm sure it was faster and felt more raw, but not as much as I thought it would. Huh. I think to get that really raw feeling, you're doing one or two more things, and that's either doing work to the engine or... What I would do is replace all the rubber in the suspension with spherical bearings and lightweight flywheel, all the stuff that
I would have left the engine alone and just put in either different gearing or change ring and pinion. Probably different gearing since he's not racing it.
And that would also, I think, do it as well.
It made a huge change in my car. It felt like I added 60 horsepower.
Yeah.
And I didn't do anything. It just changed the gearing.
Where the
and
power
suddenly
comes on.
Fifth gear became a drive gear, not an overdrive gear. And so it really gave you a sense that you were much more powerful.
I wonder if this is like maybe the latest thing, because one of my Facebook contacts or whatever, he has a Guards Red 996 that he has completely stripped the interior, put lightweight seats, removed the door cards on his car, removed everything underneath the dash, nothing in the trunk. I think he still has a rear bumper, but he's made the car light, like as light as he could. But to appreciate even more, we went over to Mike Levitas, called us over to TPC Racing to check out. Have you ever? I didn't realize how special this car was, but the Tut Hill 911K. You know about this car?
Like don't forget about it. I mean,
11,000 RPM.
Yeah. Not only so 3.1.
Was I not answering the phone when you went to see that?
I don't know. Where were you? Were you here? Oh, would you? Are you saying you would?
Yes, I would appreciate it to go look at it.
Right. I think we'll have an opportunity to see it again, but he's like, you gotta check this out.
They're super rare.
Yeah. So it's 3.1 liter, not to get off track here, but just real quickly, 3.1 liter, okay, 11,000 RPM.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the weight on that car is?
It's like 2,000 pounds, if
too.
not less, I think.
1,900 pounds.
That is insane.
Yeah. That is.
So you guys have heard of Tut Hill, I'm sure.
I have.
They had that
GT1
GT1 looking car like 2 years ago, was it?
Yeah, and now they have the buggy that looks like the Myers Manx.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, you haven't?
But if you look at this 911K, honestly, if you didn't know, like, it's hard to tell how special that car is. But we looked at it underneath. We haven't done a video or story on it yet, but hopefully we will. Man, it is like space shuttle level details underneath.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
But I guess why I mentioned it is to get to 1,900 pounds is...
You're doing some really radical things.
I really appreciate it now after what you just said of how hard it is to lose weight.
Yeah.
Wow,
Without a
crazy.
doubt.
All right, well, I know we want to talk. You were talking about your the 993 as being an ünStock like car. I guess we haven't really talked about ünStock. We haven't been together since.
No, because the last podcast we recorded was out in California.
Yeah. So ünStock, if you're not familiar with the event, it's a West Coast event that Porsche Club of America hosts that is dedicated to modified Porsches. It is an inclusive show in the sense where any modified Porsche can quote unquote qualify as long as 3 visible modifications to it. It was born. The idea was born out of us attending SEMA and seeing all the different aftermarket built cars that really didn't have a place to be showcased after SEMA, and people, of course, spend tons of hours, tons of money to modify these cars, and we thought it'd be a great idea. And what better place to put a spotlight on these cars than in Southern California? And most of them are built and reside in Southern California. So we go back every year, and this year we found ourselves at Porsche of Santa Clarita, which, if you didn't know, you might go, well, why would you go to a Porsche dealership? Well, Porsche of Santa Clarita, they have that SoCal vibe too, in the sense where, yes, they are a dealership, but they also dabble in the Porsche Classic Restoration Challenge. They've been in, I believe, 2 of those where their submission was individualization, meaning they submitted a classic Porsche that they customized, or their own version of an ünStock car. And so they have this, I had heard about, they call it the Wonderground, which is basically a mini museum that is, I would say, larger than the original Porsche museum. Very well done. And they extended an invitation for us to host ünStock there. They host a monthly of cars and coffee type of event there that pulls in thousands. So we said, man, it would be great to have that community as well as the PCA and ünStock community together in sunny California. What a combination that would be. Having said that, it wasn't sunny.
Atmospheric river.
And I tell you what,
never heard that phrase until that week.
It might as well been a typhoon for the Southern California residents.
Damon, you grew up in San Diego. Do you remember hearing the term atmospheric river?
Not way back. El Nino. I lived through the El Nino, I guess it was 1997 or 1998. So we've had stuff like that that's come through before. But the main thing with California is that surprised me moving out to the East Coast, or I shouldn't say California, but SoCal, San Diego, is when it is gloomy or it starts to rain, it does it like for a long time, sort of all at once. And you don't get it's sunny, for half an hour, and then it's rainy, and then throughout the whole day. So it's just, if it's going to rain, it's probably going to rain for quite a while, and it did.
As East Coasters, where we're familiar with precipitation, it was very interesting to see. Literally every 5 miles we drove, there was a car in the wall, because people in Southern California run on bald tires. They just probably are not aware because it doesn't affect them. As long as the tires hold air, they're okay.
Wish we could have done a screenshot of the waves because it looked like one accident that like 15 people had called in the same accident, which would happen here in Maryland. But in reality, what it was 15 different
accidents. Yeah,
it was insane.
Having said all that, kudos to the folks that came out to ünStock, especially those that brought cars. We had, I think, scheduled 135 cars. We had at least 80 cars show up. For me, I think it's kind of a sort of a blessing in a sense, because we still had a fulsome show. We had, like I said, 80 some cars. You can see some of the early pictures. It looks like there's not a lot of people, but by midday and afternoon, we had an incredible crowd. And I just think about, had we had a sunny day, keep in mind, all of the spectator lots that we have were filled. We sold out of spectator parking in the rain. Now, if it was sunny, obviously we would have sold out, but I'm not sure where we would have put all those spectators.
Well, now I understand how worried Santa Clarita was with the amount of people, because they kept on saying, we're going to get your ünStock people, and then we're going to get our cars and coffee people who are just curious to see what this is.
Yeah.
And he was saying it's going to be insane. So, yeah, to your point, in the rain, it was the fact that we sold out, if you will, the two parking lots, and the dry. I can't imagine what that place would have been like. But kudos to the volunteers.
Yes.
Who stood out in the rain with us.
Yep.
Parking cars, never complained.
Would you mind if I shout out Monica Shea?
Sure.
And Doc Pryor, because those two were working in the rain constantly.
And the guys that Monica gave me to help park their cars, I had to show them one time, and then I could pretty much focus on another parking area, because those guys did an incredible job of parking it just the way, because we had been there 2 days prior trying to stick tape on a wet ground to mark where the cars are going to park at, because we don't park them in the parking spots. We got to make it a little bit artistic, and
I would say the weather gods worked in our favor, because the setup days it was torrential rain, but we actually had some dry moments during our event, and you can see these photos that are being shown right now. So it wasn't a complete washout, which was great. And to see young and old coming out made for some incredibly dramatic photos too. I think probably as far as photographed event, this event is probably the prettiest on Instagram.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I'm not a photographer, but I was just amazed how many people had come out.
Yeah.
If not all the cars, certainly the enthusiasts came out.
Yeah, and all of our vendors came out. Our sponsors came out. Shout out to Continental. They were the presenting sponsor of ünStock, so thank you to them, and thank you to David over at Porsche Santa Clarita. He did a fantastic job. Not only he knew what to do. Like he handles the crowd. He knows exactly how things are placed. He handled it with elegance. So thank you, David, for taking great care of us. And before we even wrapped up, he said, "Man, maybe you can come back when it's sunny and do this again." You know what? I would say that might be an opportunity.
You know, I agree with you. And the thing that I didn't think about, but that people came up to me and said they were surprised that they had never been to ünStock, but they were surprised how PCA was embracing modified cars. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, people think that we're just stock cars, but we do. Yeah. Because everyone in PCA, a great majority of people have modified their car to one degree or another. Yeah. And they said, then the fact that you're doing it at a Porsche dealership, and Porsche lets you show modified cars. Yeah. And I said, this one in particular, Santa Clarita is known for having modified cars. Right. And but I said Porsche also embraces these type of cars.
So what one experience, where we will go next year, where we've got some plans, we're putting out some feelers. It'll be another special place. And if you missed ünStock for this year, watch out for news as in 2026. We'll let you know we've got some cool stuff coming.
And I'm sure the comments are going to be, when are you coming to the East Coast?
And that I do have that wish in front of our execs, and it's a question of making sure that we have enough resources to do it properly. I can tell you that members, as well as sponsors and exhibitors, they're ready for one in the East Coast, one in the South, one in the Pacific Northwest. here's the thing: if you all want to do like a version of it, I'm happy to share with you. You obviously can't call it ünStock because we're not managing it. But if you want to do a modified show and you want to know sort of the recipe that we have, more than happy to share that. But as far as an official ünStock in a different location, we're working on it, and we will get there. It's just when PCA does something, we want to make sure that we have all the necessary ingredients to have a good show.
One of my friends who wants to see it come to the East Coast said, he goes, you guys have no more excuses. All I heard was that it never rains in Southern California, and now it rains. So if it's going to rain, you might as well do it on the East Coast.
No doubt. We want. That's the thing is we want to. It's not that we don't want to, but we want to make sure we do it right and time it and such. And we have a lot of events going on. ünStock was special. Seeing everyone was special, but we also had a very unique opportunity. A gentleman that I met a few years ago, and I know Manny is quite the fan, and he's well known in the automotive world. Probably not necessarily known, or he's more known tied to sort of the hot rod world than maybe the Porsche world, but those that know that he has a Porsche background certainly know he goes very deep. And I had asked Manny if we, since we were bringing the podcast setup out to Los Angeles, is like, would there be an interest to interviewing this gentleman? And we dropped the podcast this week. Was it this week or last week? This week. It was just this week.
It would have been 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
By the time this airs.
It was 2 weeks ago. And I hope you can tell how incredibly fun it was, and how incredible it was. An honor for us to be in this location and hear this gentleman basically tell stories.
Just his generosity with his time.
Yes,
was just mind-boggling, because obviously he's a busy man, and we didn't want to take up too much of his time, but he is. We all know he's a genuine car guy. There's no question about that. But he.
So before we go any further, I've been sitting here waiting to put up the photo, but we haven't mentioned his name yet.
I know.
Oh, you haven't mentioned his name?
No,
okay.
Yeah, I haven't.
The build-up is happening.
The build-up is happening. But since you're already on the mic.
All right, cool.
Yeah, who was it?
It was Bruce Meyer.
Yes, Bruce Meyer. What an honor it was. And you can see the smiles on our faces. There is absolutely genuine. Stuff like this, we try to make happen for PCA, but it's never guaranteed. In fact, we didn't know that we were going to be able to do this until a couple days before we were heading out. He has a busy schedule, and he's not exactly sure if he's going to be in town. And when did we do this? We did this after setting up in the rain, in the pouring rain, and he was nice enough to meet us in the evening. So instead of us resting as we probably should have, we made our way to Hollywood and to his.
The bonus was it was his garage, because when we were talking about where we would do it at,
we had no idea.
The Peterson Museum was the obvious choice.
Yeah.
And I remember telling you, I said it would be really cool if he would mention his garage, and he did. And so I was like beyond myself, because I had heard about what his garage was like, and being able to see it was just
it was as
incredible.
Special as we thought it might be. And this is not all of them, right? This is not all.
Half the collection.
Half of the collection. And here's some. Make sure you watch that episode if you haven't. But here's a little PCA insider. When we wrapped up, the podcast, we were walking around, and again, we were super sensitive to his time. We were like, by now it was probably 8:00 in the evening. I'm like, man, we can't overstay, and I don't know if he has dinner plans or anything. And I saw him like kind of grab his phone, and Manny and I were just chuckling because we thought he was grabbing his phone, watching the time, because he's probably got to leave. But in fact, every time he grabbed his phone, he was like, have a look at this picture. And then he would tell us another story off camera about, let's say, the Cobra.
We could have done another podcast. All the non-Porsches that we walked around and he told us all about. And I'm thinking to myself, he's done this hundreds of times, but he still had the same enthusiasm talking about it. I think because if he meets other enthusiasts, he really likes that, and who can appreciate the history of the cars. It was the time before we started recording and the time after was super special. And, of course, the actual podcasts. He's an incredible storyteller. So I found myself a lot of times just sitting there listening to the stories. And I'm saying, this is the time that we don't have to really interrupt him.
You just lob the ball over to him and let him take it. So here's the insider tip. We will get more personal time with him on the 2026 PCA Treffinet C. He brought it up after our episode, and
I thought he was being polite when he said, so tell me about this cruise.
He's like, tell me about this cruise. And of course, we saw that as an opportunity to invite him. If you don't know already, not only will he be there, but a dear friend of his that was with us on this year's cruise will be making a return to Treffinet C. So 2 legends. I'm gonna stop there because I don't want to give out all the information, but I'm going to tell you that 2 legends will be on Treffinet C, which is September 19th through the 25th, where we will be going out of Vancouver, sailing down to San Francisco, to Santa Barbara, and ending up in LA. So we're going to have Bruce as well as Alan Springer. So those 2 alone should be the reason for you to go to Treffinet C. But if that isn't enough, we've got more speakers that we'll tell you about later, as well as this is a wine cruise. So we have wine partners coming on board. We'll also be going to excursions like wineries and stuff like that. So it is not a tough sale.
So I told Bruce, I said, not only is it like a presentation you do for a region or a club, I said, but this one they have alcohol, free alcohol.
And we're not just going to do one session with him. I think we're going to do at least 2, if not 3 sessions. The days where we are at sea. So if you haven't considered coming on a cruise, I highly recommend you go to pca.org and check out Treffinet C 2026 and get your room reservation in sooner than later.
And the presentations are just for Treffinet C members.
Correct.
So unfortunately, if you're not a Treffinet C member on the ship, you get turned away because you have to have the lanyard to be able to get in. And like Bruce said, I get there quite early to get a good seat. And it's it's very, very, very cool way to spend the day.
All right, let's make sure we recognize our other corporate sponsor, Auto Atlanta. Or if you're chasing down a part for your Porsche that's been impossible to find, maybe you're restoring a 944 Turbo, looking for a trim piece for your 914. Either way, Auto Atlanta has you covered. They've been taking care of Porsches since 1978. Not only do they have every part for Porsches, they ship internationally. They have experts to help you out. If you need a part and can't find it, give them a try at autoatlanta.com. They have a team of all-star Porsche specialists who handle everything from complex mechanical repairs, full restorations, servicing, and even detailing tips for your car. Believe it or not, they also buy and sell pre-owned vehicles. So if you have a Porsche in your garage that needs a new home, let them know. Or if you're looking for one, let them know. They buy any Porsche, whether you're rebuilding a classic or just need a single clip to finish a project. Auto Atlanta has you covered. There's a PCA discount code. Use the code PCA, the number 5. OFF for 5% off your first order. Again, that's autoatlanta.com. Porsche parts, Porsche people, Porsche passion since 1978. Manny, let's get into the news.
Which one do we have first listed?
First listed, we have simulated gear shifts.
Yeah, so we have talked about this in the past, but it looks like Porsche is going definitely moving forward with it. And they're going to start off with the Taycan. So the Taycan has 2 speeds. You don't obviously hear it because it's an electric car. You don't really feel it. And one of the complaints by some people have been that you lose that sporty feel without being able to feel gear shifts. And so they're going to try it. They're going to do what Hyundai did first. And a lot of people were very positive the way the Hyundai did it. I've never driven an electric car with or a Hyundai, so I would love to. I can't wrap my head around the fact that it basically it lifts off the throttle for you to give you the sense of that it's shifting gears.
It's just like a sim rig. It's what it's basically doing, right?
I guess I don't have a sim rig, but
yeah. Well, remember the ones that we used out here when we had those sim racing setup guys who had that big system, and it moves the chair so you can feel things. It's the same thing. It's dragging the motor a little bit, so when you're shifting, I guess a dual clutch, it wouldn't be much of a torque brake, but it's just literally powering down or doing anything to move your body so it feels like it's shifting. That's all it's doing.
I guess I don't understand why, though.
I don't either, but I would love to try it out to see what it's like.
Yeah.
Man, you two are why Porsche didn't do it in the first place.
I mean, if it's not a performance enhancing feature,
It seems like it's just to satisfy the old people that make them feel that they're driving an older.
Why?
No, I would say that it's not to satisfy the old people. It's to satisfy the younger crowd and people who are interested in having a little bit of fun with their electric car. So I want to say this because I saw on some websites that some people said, I think Motor One had something saying, we were talking about this in June or July. Well, I will say here, go to PCA.org, look for ICE Cosplay Has Its Place. Can Hyundai teach Porsche from April 2025? And it goes into all the details about why you might want simulated gear shifts. And not the least of which is because on track, what do you use as, an auditory signal for how high you are in the rev range? Like in an electric car, there isn't.
But you don't need that, though. It's like instant torque. I never, when I was driving a electric car really hard.
Braking points, how faster you're going. You're using your ears.
No.
And so what most people are saying who've reviewed the Hyundai is that being able to, quote unquote, shift, like going into a braking zone, it feels more like a normal car and what they're used to.
I guess I have to experience. I'm
on the flip side, imagine you're in a Cayenne, and I'm sure Porsche can make a lot of money off of this. Well, maybe you're in a Porsche Cayenne, you want to have a little bit of fun. It's not going to help you go faster, but you load the 917 program in. And it plays through the Burmester sound system.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
What it would sound like inside a 917, and it has the engine drag.
But that's not.
It's not sound though.
Yeah,
like I like sound for fun. I get it.
But you can get the electric motor to simulate what a 917 felt like.
Well, and they say you can turn it off. So
anyway,
I'm willing to.
I'm willing to try it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's better than the Porsche motor sound they have from the electric motor.
Yeah.
Which is
I understand like a CVT transmission where they simulate gear shifts. I think you were driving a Civic or something like that, and you couldn't even tell because you thought it was an automatic transmission. Like I can see why that, like, it's kind of annoying in a CVT car that where it goes me and just kind of sits there, and then driving a modern day Civic that has a CVT and it has those shift changes. I can see that. Like I understand that and why that's comfortable and why that kind of feels the way it feels. But for an electric motor, I don't see the fun in it.
It's just for fun.
I guess I'm not gonna. Here's the thing: I'm not gonna poo-poo it until I experience it, and I'm gonna do what I always preach: is I'm gonna hope that whatever they came up with is successful because I am a brand supporter.
I just know as much as seat time I've had in EVs, especially very very spirited driving. I never felt the need for a tach. I mean, because the torque is just so instant.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, in a PDK you want to because you don't want to be too low.
Right.
A RPM coming out of a turn. But PDK is pretty darn smart, so I find myself letting the PDK. But a manual car, you definitely want to make sure you're not too low. But, yeah, and you know what, Damon? When we had the Macan EV, and I was driving it through like 2.5 hours back from the Eastern Shore, I thought I could easily entertain myself going through different engines. Of course, they wouldn't put a Ferrari, but certainly going through different Porsche engine sounds to see what it'd be like. So I'm all for that.
It's like engine night in your car.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I would love that because it's better than, like I said, the motor sound from Porsche is. I've yet to find one that it enhances my drive or not, but having it sound like a 356, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, and the main thing, I think with this technology is what are the downsides? Well, I guess the biggest downside is if it's not successful, Porsche's wasted a bunch of time.
Yeah.
But other than that,
if it was something you can turn on and off, then I don't see any harm in it.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah. Okay. All right, the next news item is a dear friend of ours.
Oh, yeah, Grant Larson.
Yeah.
Retiring, although...
but he will say to you that he is not retiring. He's just leaving the company.
And is that because you think... because I know German, I guess, labor laws are different than the U.S.
Yeah.
And I think for financial reasons, it makes sense sometimes for employees to retire and come back as consultants.
I'm not going to pretend to know the labor laws, but I know it's related to your age and the time that you've been in the organization. Like they have a schedule where people have to rotate out, and no matter if you're the best person in the world, at some point these people have to rotate out.
The way somebody from Germany explained to me was it financially makes sense to retire, but they come back as a consultant.
Yeah.
Usually in a different role, but anyways, he's so he's not going to be a Sonderwunsch, at least not in the special projects.
Not as a company person, maybe as Grant Larson Enterprises or something like that.
It'll be interesting to see if they replace that position with another designer, and who would that be?
Yeah.
And of course, if you were lucky enough like us to have the Classic Club Coupe done by Grant Larson, that's a pretty cool thing to have.
Absolutely. And actually, that's a great segue, Manny. Thank you very much. I had the opportunity to catch up with Grant recently, and he says, "Oh, Vu, I have something for PCA. It's been in my bag, and it's actually been to parade, and I forgot to give it to you, and I had to bring it back. So it's crossed the ocean twice at least." And he pulls this out, and hopefully Damon can show you closely. But before you show the picture, Damon, so we're all very familiar with the Classic Club Coupe. We're also very familiar with, say, the Carrera font on the side of a Porsche. Believe it or not, and Manny, you can give the details of this, you can't just type in any letters or words and have it quote unquote translated.
There's no typeface font for Porsche.
Right. You can't just choose Times New Roman or Arial or whatever it is and have it spit out into a Porsche font. There's probably fonts out there that look similar, but actual Porsche font, no. They actually have a designer. They have iterations that are made that must be approved. So when we made the 996 Classic Club Coupe, we had Classic Club Coupe written out in the special font across the back of the car. And Grant was in charge of creating that badge for the Classic Club Coupe. And lo and behold, when you do that, you have to submit it. You have different drafts. And what he gave to us, ta-da, is actually the prototype of the badge, where he made the club. They had Classic Coupe. They had that already made, but they didn't have Club. So he had to make Club to add it to Classic Club Coupe, and we will now have it for our archives. How cool is that?
And they must have been different than the 60th Club Coupe, because they would have had Club already made up for that. But I think this is a little bit more angular than that Club Coupe.
That's right. Did we have Club Coupe badge across the back on the 60th? I can't remember.
I thought we had it somewhere on the...
I think
what I noticed about this was it seemed to be a little bit... that's what I can say was more angular.
We should know that. We should know that question or answer.
Yeah, but it was, like you said earlier, there isn't a font system, because my race car, we used to call it the Wonder Bread, and we used to spell it with W-U.
Yeah.
And then bread was B-R-E-D. And... My shop that I go to, Igor, he hand found letters and made it basically on the computer, made Wonder Bread in what would have been Porsche font for the back deck lid.
It's got to be custom.
Yeah, because a lot of people ask me, where'd you get the W at, and where did you... And it was all basically handmade.
So funny enough, actually, it said Porsche 911 Carrera GTS on the back.
I know. That's why they.
I think it might have said it on the.
It said on the doors, but it was graphics. It was vinyl, not a badge.
But it would have had the script, though.
But the script is 2D on the side. It's not 3D.
But still, what I'm getting at, that C would have been, I think it's a little bit different than the C here.
Yeah, but that was done just in vinyl or in paint or whatever, whereas this one actually had to be produced.
That's very cool. I'm glad he gave it to the club as
Yeah.
Nice little.
Can you
bit of
imagine
history.
when someone like that retires, the volumes of just stuff that he has at his house?
Oh, I know. What was it? What he did at one presentation about the Boxer, I think, and he said he forgot that he had all these files in the trunk of his one Boxer. Because he hadn't opened the trunk up in like 9 months, and he opened it up and he found all these pictures.
Yeah. Anyways, let's not get him into trouble because I'm not sure if that was. All right. Let's see. This next one is going to be a tough one, but hopefully we all can rally together. This one has to do with sort of what Porsche is bracing for.
Well, obviously we know Porsche is having some challenges. They're obviously not in the same spot that they were back in the late 80s, early 90s. And I think they're trying their best to prevent themselves from putting themselves in that position. But VW, the VW group, which Porsche's part of, they're all tightening their belts big time, and they're getting ready for cuts at the home office in Stuttgart. And they're offering early retirement packages and
So will you allow me to get on my soapbox just a little bit about this? So, all right, I know there's a lot of folks online that are just like, oh, Porsche, went all in on EV, made the wrong decisions, blah, blah, blah. That's, they've lost their soul, this, that, and the other. Look, as a car maker, you have to follow regulations and you have to see what's coming down the road, and sometimes the information that you've gotten from regulatory agencies around the world have told you that this will be the way of the future and you have to make cars that follow those regulations. So they put a lot of eggs in the basket of going the EV way, because at the time, and people are making these decisions years before we even know about it. Just think about the production facilities and the plans for all that. That was done like 5 years ago, at least 10 years ago. Like they're starting, this strategy, right? Now, unfortunately, as we all know, EVs did not stick, or the conversion or the move to EVs.
Well, this is where it just irks the heck out of me when this misinformation. The Chinese market put a big hurting.
Yeah.
The Chinese are not making ICE cars.
Right.
They're making strictly EVs.
Yep.
But they're making their own EVs.
Yeah.
And that's what hurt Porsche and the other manufacturers. Wasn't the fact that Porsche chose EV over ICE. Porsche didn't think that China would turn around and basically say
that's to me that's the second blow, right? The first blow was, here's all these regulations that you had to retool and prepare for, so you put your eggs in the EV basket, and it didn't stick, or the transition phase. It's not going away. For those of you that are listening that thinks that EV's not going to be our future, it's going to be our future. It's just the fact that when is the infrastructure going to be able to catch up?
And can these companies that are producing ICE survive long enough to be able to go and transition over?
So first blow is the EV bet, right? But they could have been heroes. Had it stuck, they would have been very well positioned. And then the second blow, as you said, is the fact that they enjoyed a huge market share in China, regardless of the technology. Just imagine you have
it was their number one market for a while.
Yeah. But a huge market share in China, and then all of a sudden the Chinese market chooses their own national car over, and it's not only Porsche that's suffering, it's any import into China is suffering, because they've all
China has like 20 some, I think, auto manufacturers, EV auto manufacturers.
So they have
probably more than that.
Yeah, more than that. And then the price point, like, you just can't compete, right? So that's blow number two. And then obviously lately we've been talking about, tariffs for cars that are coming into the United States. So that's a third blow. So now that you know all of that, be sensitive. Like, if you were faced with, how do I get the Porsche ship, so to speak, back on track or in the right direction, that's a hugely complicated strategy to try to figure out. And to make it even worse is, whatever strategy you decide to choose, it's going to take a couple of years to implement. So let's say you come up with the best possible car that's ICE or hybrid or whatever it is. Any platform, even if they rushed it, is going to be like a 2 to 3 year period. And then what do you do with all the infrastructure that you just put down at Leipzig for all the EVs? Like, you can't just take that stuff offline. You can't just retool it to make these other cars. So I guess what I'm getting at is, like, whatever they're coming out as Porsche fans, like, we want them to succeed, and then we want to help them bridge this time period. Why? You might not agree with what cars they're making in the future, because it might not apply to you, but let's hope that whatever they do make does apply to a lot of people, because that means they can stay afloat, and then they can still make all of the cars that we love, right? So, all right, I promised that I'll off the soapbox, but I had to get that off my chest, because when I've spoken to PAG folks, obviously they understand like how incredibly important the next couple years will be, and I think most people will understand that it's going to be kind of rocky. But if we all kind of stick together, and I don't mean to sound too kumbaya-ish, but we need to do this, because there's other car companies that haven't made through something like this, and guess what? Their brand is diminished by now, and that you can't get classic parts, you can't get this, that, and the other. You won't get the two-door cars, all that stuff. So let's do what we can to support them.
Yeah, not just them. I worry about our own domestic auto manufacturers, that they also survive through this too, because I always think the United States is car manufacturing, and I hate to see us not have the same standing that we've always had in the world. So
and I will say that I've heard through the grapevine, that there are models that I think most of you that are listening will approve of, that's coming down the line. But like I said, it's going to be it's going to take a little bit of time, so just hang in there. This next news item here is, I don't know all the details of it, but it's kind of interesting to see something about Porsche cars in Russia.
Yeah. Do you read this, Damon? Because I see David laughing too.
Yeah, I had it in e-brake last night. Yeah, it was...
So are they just not working? Like the software is glitchy?
Basically. It's not a glitch.
They think it's something to do with the satellite GPS tracking.
Porsche, So Porsche doesn't sell new cars in Russia anymore. They still have 3 dealerships that they've been trying to sell, but they can't. So you got to think they've sold probably a ton of Porsches in Russia, but they don't sell new cars, and I'm guessing support is probably greatly diminished since the war and stuff that's going on over there. So they can't get their updates, and et cetera, et cetera. You got a car that, because of whatever GPS or something, they just won't start. They're not up to date, and so owners are doing all sorts of things like unplugging their car, or unplugging,
like rebooting.
Like rebooting, like taking the car off the battery for 10 hours, and like with mixed success and whatever. So and Manny, if I'm not reading this right now, but what was it? Do you have in front of you what it was GPS wise? Because it is a GPS thing, and
it's a GPS tracking. It's so they're not 100% sure, and if you Google this, you're going to see everything from conspiracy theories to this is a government led. Basically, that the government went in there and hacked into the system and disabled everyone's Porsche from being.
We don't know why.
No,
we just know that it's.
I've not heard yet as a definitive answer of really.
We only know
happened.
cars aren't working.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And the thing is, I guess the bigger picture illustrates is, and I think this ties into part of this cybersecurity regulations that Europe had, where it led to the demise of the 718 and the Macan. Was that they have to now adhere to the regulations required, so these type of attacks aren't affected, because it can. Yeah. What was that movie that came out? Where they showed the whole grid like falling apart.
I remember.
And one of them was the cars all just shutting off, and and it was remember the ship that ran aground, the oil tanker, and it's all GPS tracking and whatnot. So it's kind of scary how much we rely on that from like 30 years ago, where that never existed. Now suddenly. It's an integral part.
Just go think, in 25 years, is a 992 GT3 going to work if let's say you live in an area that doesn't have a Porsche dealership or whatever it might be. That's pretty far-fetched, I think, here in the US.
It's not.
Because somebody from Porsche, source, told me that I forgot what year, and within the next 10 years, you're going to have to be able to log your car into the Porsche service network to be able to work on it.
Wow.
And he said, and that's probably going to really hurt DIYers because independent shops can afford to pay for the subscription to join.
I have a feeling that ain't going to go over too well in the U.S. And I wonder if
I
that's
hope
gonna
they do
actually
what's it
happen.
called, the right to repair or something like that.
Because we have a big consumer
lots of lobbyists.
based law. Yeah.
But it's anyways, whether
Well,
that was a heck job or just something glitch in the software. There was a bunch of upset Russian Porsche owners.
As advanced as all these cars are, and now this cybersecurity kind of crosses over into our automotive world, but it's certainly possible.
I'm guessing this goes back to the invasion of Ukraine when all the corporate entities pulled out of Russia, like McDonald's and whatnot.
Right.
So maybe it'll go back to normal after this is all done.
Oh, crazy. Well, if we do see what the causes are later, we'll be sure to report on it. But for now, be sure to head over to PCA.org, sign up for PCA's newsletters, performance news, e-brake news, and Mart Fresh news. PCA events that are coming up. I already mentioned Treffin at Sea. Hopefully we will see you there. We have Tech Tactics East, February 21st and 22nd, back at Easton, Pennsylvania. I'm looking forward to that. I always love that event. Works Reunion, Amelia Island. We will be back there March 6th. Registration, by the time you listen to this, will have been open, right?
As we're recording this on the 10th.
Opens today.
It opens today.
Opens today. All right. And videos, we talked about the 911 Carrera 4, the ünStock 911 Carrera 4S. Tonight, we will be recording Tech Tactics Live, a 718 buyer's guide. So if you're considering a 718, one that you won't want to miss. And then also Tech Tactics Live, the Cayenne E3 buyer's guide. If you're looking to race others online, PCASimRacing.com, give it a try. If you log on, it's your first time, they'll show you how to get started and what equipment you'll need, and you'll be racing with other PCA members. PCA Insider Swag, head over to PCAWebstore.org. You can get bottles, mugs, and if you're just looking for PCA Insider decals to show your support of our show, which is really cool. I see them all the time. Just send us an email with your address information to podcast@pca.org, and we will send you some free PCA Insider decals. And with that, anything else before we wrap it up, gentlemen?
Congratulations to Dr. Wolfgang Porsche
on getting married,
on his recent marriage
to
Gabriella of Lenningen. She's actually part of the Tyson Krupp, which is the steelmaker. I believe a German steelmaker family.
Power couple.
Definitely power couple.
Power couple. All right. Well, everyone, again, happy holidays to you. Hope that you have a great time this holiday with your family. Be safe. Thank you for listening. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and consider sharing our show with fellow Porsche enthusiasts. Until next time, stay safe, and we'll catch you down the road.